Game on the line. Williams lofting one for a doozy. He caught
it! You're listening to the world's #1 football podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Ben Hanson, Matt Hartman, and Ryan Matthews.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pigskin Project, episode 172, aka the last one of the 2025 NFL offseason. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done after today with the offseason. And hey, something I noticed today, really electrifying news here. So after today, we have 5 straight days of football, if you're counting college football. Because we have games Thursday all the way through Monday, and we will be diving into week 1 action for college football today. And then we'll take a 2-day break as far as football is concerned for Tuesday and Wednesday, just because the world needs us to warm up for the NFL. And we've got Thursday's matchup. Ben's super excited about that, I'm sure. Friday's matchup in Brazil between the Chiefs and the Chargers, I'm sure. I think we've got some Saturday games too, right, boys? But then we've got Sunday and then Monday, and I'm amped up. It's finally here. The time that we have been waiting for is finally here. We got some week 0 action that I'm sure the guys had talked to you about last week. I wasn't here for that. Doing some important things, got accepted into Southern New Hampshire University. I'll be going back to online school, feeling great about that. But regardless, little appetizer from this past weekend. That felt pretty good, I think, right? That game in Dublin. But I'm feeling great, feeling amped up. We have this NFL season preview show. Couldn't be happier to do it with my guys. Without further ado, Matt, how we doing, man?
Let's go, man. He's pumping me up, fired up. No, I am excited for the games. Obviously, the games on Saturday more so than Thursday and Friday, but there is a game on Friday we're going to talk about, absolutely. But like you said, I mean, what are we, 8 days away, man? And from this time, like in this time a week from now, we're going to be talking about week 1 games, so pretty exciting for a pretty NFL-centric podcast, but over the course of last few months has become a football-centric podcast. How are we doing, Ben?
Absolutely. I mean, it was great. We had talked about it just a little bit on last week's podcast, the chips and salsa of it all. We got a couple great games coming out of college football with the Farmageddon and the way the Stanford and Hawaii game ended. But again, this is the meal. We'll get into it later on. And I'm pumped. We got 1 more week left before we can really get into the NFL. And, it's really starting to get that itch, really getting excited. But it's great.
Yeah, I'm so amped up. I know, next weekend, guys, we've got some quality guy time planned. So, I'm excited for that. But regardless, it's going to be some good stuff. But speaking of good stuff, we've got some news for you. Because
Let's hit the rundown first. Rundown. All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Steer
the rundown.
ship.
Yeah, the rundown this week. Obviously, we're going to start with news. And then in any order these guys want to go, we'll hit the bold takes, we'll hit the playoff brackets, and then we'll finish out with some college football. But I think before we get into anything, I know you weren't here last week, Ryan, but you went viral. Can we talk about that? Can we?
I was hoping we.
And then we could flush it. And then we could flush it, and it's gone.
I flushed it already, man. Stop getting views, man. It stopped getting views. Listen, okay, I'm getting rid of this little banner so you guys can know. You see this little @ symbol by my name? Hi, I'm the doofus that posted the rule wrong. Okay, that was me last Friday. Yeah, I posted an NFL rule wrong. I thought that I had an understanding of it, and I was very wrong. I cannot stress this enough. This was not to rage bait any Chiefs fans. I'm sorry. I hate your team. I'll put it out there. I'm okay with being known for being a Chiefs hater, but that was not the way to go about that. And I cannot emphasize this enough. I did not mean to. I was seriously under the influence that was legitimately the rule. So, if you guys are on Twitter, I'm sure you guys have seen the post because 3.1 million of you did. Insane. I'm not cool with that. But I mean, hey, I guess I went viral. I don't know. It doesn't feel real, man. It doesn't feel like you went viral. It's Twitter. You know what I mean? It just people read your words.
It's not real.
It's not
It's
real.
fake. It doesn't exist.
Yeah. But the tweet's still up. So if you guys haven't seen it, I mean, I guess you can go and look at it for context. But regardless, I posted a clip of the play. I'm just too amped up about football, man. Come on. I'm excited. I got overly worked up about a preseason play that doesn't matter at all. And people hated me for it. So, my bad.
You were
my bad.
polarizing.
And I will say, because I think around 20,000 people had seen this, I did put out an apology post and explained how I was wrong for those of you that know that think that I'm right for whatever reason to be wrong. I'm not right. So, but this was not something that I wanted to keep up to continue misinforming people, but it was rather something I wanted to keep up because I feel like if I were to take it down, now that 3.1 million people have followed or have seen it, I want people to understand that I'm big enough to say, hey, it's cool, I'm wrong. My bad. Like, it's okay to do that. And people don't do that online. And that's the best way to go about it, in my opinion. So, yeah, it's over. It's done with. Show rundown. Yeah, let's do that. Huh? That's pretty cool. We have a podcast to do, and I don't feel like talking about this stupid tweet anymore.
Let's get into news. All right, it's flushed. All right, it's gone. We're all done.
Hold on. No. Show rundown.
We already did the show rundown.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, whatever. I was amped up and, amped up because I'm saying that all the time. So I'm trying to get that flushed out. Anyways, news. Yes, take it away.
So we finally got some holdouts finally settled. First, we'll talk about the first one, obviously. Terry McLaurin signed a 3-year, it was announced as a $96 million contract. It has now been proven to be an $87 million, 44 fully guaranteed with a big signing bonus for him. I think that was something he wanted. He wanted some early guarantees there with the next few years, being Jaden Daniels' rookie year. We have talked about this, that they have a ton of money. And so he wanted to be compensated for what he has been the last few years while they've had mediocre quarterback play. So, and then a ton of incentives. So if he continues to go off the way that Terry McLaurin can, he will continue to earn more money. But anybody have any thoughts on this? I feel like we've beaten this to a pulp. Same as the next one.
Thank God it's over.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's fine compensation though. I mean, like that's right around in the ballpark of what he should. It makes him like the ninth or 10th, highest paid wide receiver, which is right around where he should be considering his age. A lot more, stomachable compared to the 96 that was originally reported. It's good, and as you guys said, thank the Lord that it's finally over. We all knew it was going to happen. Now we can finally shut up and stop talking about it.
Speaking of another thing that was going to happen, but it got cloudy for a minute there, Trey Hendrickson got a raise with the Bengals. It brings his salary to $30 million. There was no, I assume this $14 million is just guaranteed. I assume it is just plopped in there as like a signing bonus similar to Terry. I wouldn't see otherwise because there's no other way to spread it without void years, which they ended up doing, by the way. So just keep that in mind. This is not a team that really utilizes that contract metric. They've only done it with Burrow and Chase. So if they're doing it with Hendrickson, I think there's world where this gets talked about next offseason. I think this 1 year is to see if he has a great year. If he has a subpar year, they can let him walk. But if he has a really good year, I think they can tag him now, because now they don't have to worry about tagging T in that whole contract situation. So this is good for the Bengals. This is good for Trey Hendrickson. This is what he wanted without the long-term security, which if he continues to play it the way he has, he will get it. So
Yes, agreed. It'll be interesting to see come end of season if they finally put their money where their mouth is and say, yes, we actually need you on our bad defense. But again, as you said, I mean, 1 year, $30 million. It's a hefty raise, as you guys can see there, $14 million for him. Well deserved. And it'll be interesting to see if they can kind of build on maybe previous contract, conversation if they come like week 10 and they're like, let's do it, or if they just wait until the end of the year. So it'll be interesting.
I just want to say this does not move the needle for me whatsoever for the Bengals. I mean, good for them. I understand, like, this is a guy that led the league in sacks. That's totally fine. But in terms of the team themselves, this does not move the needle for me. I mean, he played on the team last season. They were tied for the second most touchdowns given up last season with 53. So not to mention they were the 25th ranked defense last year in total yards given up. So, meaning they were really, really bad, not, the other way around. So with that being said, I'm not saying that this team cannot go to the playoffs because of their defense. I'm saying if they go to the playoffs, it's going to be because of their offense and how high-powered that is between Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, and then, that guy at quarterback, Joe Burrow. But regardless, I mean, it is a nice piece to have. I think it, kind of prolongs that conversation another year, keeps him happy at least for one more season. But, I'm sure the guy would have rathered a longer-term contract with more guaranteed money. That way he doesn't have to live in that, what if I get hurt this year kind of thing, because now, the Bengals can kind of pay him a little bit less potentially. But, not to mention the guy's not getting any younger. That's the one thing that I would say. He's 30 years old. He'll be turning 31 this December. So with that being said, are you going to pay a 31-year-old $30 million per year following this season? Or because to me, I'm like, I might have understood a little bit more if it was going to be long term, and I know that's kind of a weird thing, but like you're not going to sign him to a multi-year deal after this year, so it's going to be kind of complicated to me. But
Absolutely. If he puts up the numbers he did again, he'll get signed to more.
Here's the thing, and I mean for me personally, I'm just not a fan of inking a guy that's in his early 30s to like a 3 or 4 year deal. Because I just don't know. I mean, it's not like it's a running back. Don't get me wrong. Like these guys, they could play, for a long time. But my thing is like he's going to regress and start regressing soon. Like it's bound to happen at some point. He's not going to be putting up 16 sacks per season in 2 or 3 years. You know what I mean? So like, what are you willing to pay him? And to that point, like if he was about 4 years younger, maybe, you know what I mean? Sure, of course, you know what I mean? But I mean, you'll see soon, hopefully, probably what Micah Parsons is going to be making soon. So like, but regardless, it's an iffy situation for me. I don't like it, but congrats on the raise, I guess. I don't know.
My thing is with you saying it doesn't move the needle. It moves the needle for me because of who would have been rushing the passer if he's not there. I think he at least gives you that puncher's chance of being another 15 sack guy and just being able to create these havoc plays. It's the Joseph Osai, Miles Murphy, like crossing your fingers, hold your breath, is a much more palatable experiment when Trey Hendrickson is on the other side. So I think for me, it brings them from like number 32 to like, maybe 24, but I
don't know. We'll
offense.
We'll get into it a little bit in a later segment for me, but you're not this defense doesn't need to be a top 10 defense for them to make the playoffs. No. You're just asking them to not be the worst defense and improve a little bit on what they were last year, which again, as we've talked so much on this podcast, your defensive rating year to year for the most part is something that is very fickle and fluctuates very, very often. Again, they don't need to be top 10 if they're 20, if they're 18. this team is making the playoffs with how good their offense is. But I digress.
I'm sorry about how my mic's sounding, guys. Hopefully it sounds a little bit better. But
Yeah, you're good.
anyways,
All right, let's move on to the last extension. This one was kind of out of the blue, but Kyle Hamilton, the safety for the Ravens, got a 4-year, 101.4, so he's making $25.1 million per year at safety, by far the biggest extension for a safety. Kirby Joseph signed the biggest one a few months ago for 4 years, like 84, 85 something million, so he just knocks this out of the park. This is no surprise to me. This is the best safety in football. What he is able to do and what he is able to do schematically, making the Ravens multiple in the back end, is just something so valuable to them, and what he brings as a skill set. I can't believe this guy fell to pick 14 in 2022. This was one of the best players in that draft class. That was one of the first draft classes I actually scouted, and he was far and away one of the best players in that class, and he's now getting compensated as one of the best players in the NFL. Take it away, guys.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I and this isn't very much because I'm like, hey, cool, this is good. But it's cool to us, I think, because remember when we watched him at the combine? That was
Yeah.
pretty cool. That we're getting old, guys. Congrats. This is
He
huge for a
ran
guy
slow, and so people moved him down the board.
But I remember, because you guys got to keep in mind, I was very, very, very casual, even more casual than I am right now when it comes to college football, and being like, that guy, Notre Dame, right? Notre Dame. That's pretty cool. Good for him. And then I was like, well, oh yeah, now he plays for the Ravens, and that guy went to Notre Dame, by the way. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, he's really good, and now he's getting an extension. Yeah, we're getting older. He's been in the league. This would be his 3rd year now that he's in the league. So
Year 4.
Year 4. So I mean, he's played 3 years, yeah, but 4 years, yeah. So yeah, awesome. Congrats to the guy. But Ben, my bad.
Yeah, an absolute boatload of money guaranteed. It's $82 million. Very, very well deserved for him. Again, best safety in the league. As Matt had said, it really allows them to do whatever they want to do on the back end. Well deserved. That's really all I got to say.
Sweet. All right, let's tackle the little things that also happened. Rashee Rice agreed to a 6-game suspension, so that thing is over. He will be suspended for 6 games this upcoming season. There was some plausibility that he could, he would have a hearing late September, so he'd be able to play the first 4 games, and then he'd get suspended. It's just not how that stuff works. I think it's right for him to just have the 6 games and be done with it at that point. Rosters got cut to 53, so we're not going to go through every single roster, but if you're a fan of each team, you know who the 53 guys are. Trades have been trickling out as we've gone through. We'll get to those in just a minute. And then last one, the Saints have a starting quarterback, Spencer Rattler. So that's pretty cool. So
So do the Browns, by the way. Did you see that?
Time.
Not
We talked about it.
Yeah, that was. I mean,
the
Shadur's
backup
the emergency
thing?
third is really bad. Yeah, in my opinion.
Well, yeah.
I don't know how
I
you
mean,
could start Dylan
I
Gabriel.
mean, Dylan
over-
Gabriel was picked 50 spots ahead of him. So,
That's fair.
what?
That's fair.
There was nothing that was really going to change in preseason that they were just all of a sudden.
In the
I think
very
especially-
limited amount of preseason snaps that I had watched of either quarterback, I liked Shadur Sanders. But I
That's
have to
crazy.
go
Did you
through
not
anything.
watch Shadur Sanders' pocket management? It was awful.
The
It
Rams.
was
in the
dog
very limited
trash.
15 plays of total Browns preseason game footage that I have watched? That was cool. Then I don't know.
He liked the Panthers game.
I
guess
did.
so.
That was the game. That was actually the game. That's awesome.
The Rams game was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Good thing I didn't watch.
And
it. I
then
don't know.
that became a Twitter topic where it's like, it's not fair. They're having Shador play with the 3rd string lineman. It's like, he's the 3rd string quarterback. So it's just how the
how
NFL
it works.
works.
Yeah.
So but yeah, let's roll through some trades, right? Brian Robinson goes to the Niners for a 6th-round pick. That was depth. The Eagles made some finagling to get Sam Howell now. So they went from Kenny Pickett to Sam Howell in, 6 months? That's kind of fun. A lot of lineman depth trades. Kenny Pickett, the Browns' best starting quarterback, was traded away to be a backup. Mekhi Blackman, who is former 3rd-round pick for the Vikings, went to the Colts. More offensive lineman depth. And then the big one was Adam Thielen today. So Adam Thielen got traded for what the net outcome is. He was traded for a 4th. So he's going to Carolina with a 7th and a 2027 5th for a 2027 4th and 26th 5th. So they're swapping 5th-round picks this year to next year to give up the 4th. Next year it basically nets out to be a 4th. The Vikings did not have a 4th. This is good for the Vikings because they needed some wide receiver depth, and Thielen he's a Minnesota guy. He was undrafted, I believe, out of Minnesota State, made the team from there, and it's just been a grinder. Obviously goes to the Panthers a few years ago, and I saw a video with his kids today that was pretty cool, whereas they were so jazzed to go back to Minnesota. So that was cool for him. And then Tim Patrick was traded for a 6th. Is there any of those you guys are tickling at to talk about?
No, I just think it's a fun storyline that this offseason was the year that we see all of these wide receivers reunite with their teams. Adam Thielen in Minnesota, Amari Cooper and the Raiders.
Oh yeah, that
Brandon
happened.
Cooks in the Saints, and then there's one more. Keenan Allen in the Chargers. It's just fun that it's all is well. It's a wholesome little feeling that all of these guys are going back to the places where everything has started. So on a very what is considered a sad week for many, it's fun to be able to find in these little areas that you can pick out some wholesomeness. And also complete side note, if you want to see something wholesome, the Ravens posted a video of Jay Higgins making the roster and their GM being yo, you made the roster. And it's a very heartwarming video, but we're not here to talk about that.
I will say the trades, right? The one thing that I want to hit on, I know we got traded to a division rival, but Adam Thielen, man, it's really cool to see. I think his wife posted it, but he was kind of bouncing his daughter on his knee and was we're going home. And to that, I was that's awesome, man. As a person, you have to love that for them, right? And one of the captions being their son was going to be so happy when he got home from school. You know what I mean? And it's that's really cool to see. So, for a guy like him, which I believe Adam Thielen does a lot of community work as well, and is kind of known for that around the Minneapolis area. But for that, there's a soft spot in my heart for a lot of guys that do a bunch of charity work and stuff like that. For example, obviously huge Anthony Rizzo fan for the Cubs. You know what I mean? He's known for that stuff too. But my thing is for a guy like that to go back to where he's kind of most known for, right? It's cool to see. I don't know. You got to root for him regardless of if he's a division rival or not. So excited for that. The rest of them, meh. So, all right, what are we moving on to now, Matt? What are we doing?
All right, are we going to bold takes or are we going to playoff predictions?
I think we're doing bold takes. Let's do bold takes.
All right, we got to swing into bold takes. All right, so bold takes. We got to preface, if this is going up on the YouTube, last year we had some bold takes at this time that did not age too well. I said Roma Dunze would lead the Bears in receiving and be a uber productive fantasy receiver. That did not happen. Ryan said the Bills would fall off. They made the AFC Championship, and Josh Allen won the MVP. And I think, Ben, wasn't your take about the Cardinals would be bad? Was it something like that?
Something like that. Oh God, that was a year ago. You asked me to recall something.
Yeah,
that's
I
crazy.
know.
I don't know,
I know.
but good to hear that I had the best of the worst bad takes.
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
I'm getting. But also, as we'll figure out today,
This is
kind
just
of
prefacing.
garbage.
This is just prefacing. These are supposed to be crazy.
Hey,
Which
did
is
we-
funny because you guys
did
will
we
hear mine and you guys are gonna be like, these are just like the most lukewarm takes you'll ever hear in your entire life. Because I'm bad. I'm
Stephen A
bad.
is not inviting you back.
No, he's
Did
not.
we come close at all to any of them previously? Do you know, or was it just like really bad?
I just zagged super on the Bills. I just remember that. I had like,
Okay.
I'd like two. I think the Falcons missing the playoffs was my other one because
In
that
your
was
defense,
big.
Rome wasn't necessarily bad. He just wasn't Brian
Yeah,
Thomas Jr.
I put lofty expectations, but yeah. All right, let's get into that was 24. Like Ryan's tweet, flush it down the toilet. Let's go.
Come
to
on, man, we flushed it.
25. I'll start. This is one I've said on the podcast, and I'll say it again. I think the Packers are going to be the best offense in football. I think backing it up with Love in his first 2 years, he's been one of the best EPA per play quarterbacks, which is an efficiency metric. They have been one of the most explosive offenses in terms of explosive play rate. They just drafted one of the most explosive players in football in Matthew Golden. Like, I think if his baseline, Ben, I know we were lower on him, but
Yes.
if his baseline is just be Christian Watson but catch the football, that's just going to open up everything. And I think
Yes.
it's going to help out someone like Jaden Reed, who he is hurt right now. I understand that. And he's like uncertain for week 1 is the quote from LaFleur. But what they did with him last year, he ran out of gas. He was doing so much of that side to side stuff that he wasn't really getting downfield often. And we saw what he could do when he gets downfield against Philly specifically. So
Oh, God.
I'm still like super bullish on these guys. I know we talk about how it's like, well, they don't have a receiver one and this and that, but it's like I keep coming back to Buffalo, where it's just having these guys with multiple yak ability, with multiple, the basketball room mentality. We have so many skill sets, and we have a quarterback who is just he's aggressive, but at the same time like anticipatory at times. And when you take out those games last year, or specifically just the Vikings game, that Vikings game when he came back early in Lambeau, and he was horrible in that game. Like, from that point on, he was a top 5 quarterback. He didn't turn the ball over in his last 9 regular season games. Turned it around and had 3 in the playoffs. So I'm not excluding that game. But talking regular season, I think this is really going to be the year they pop and they finally figure it out on offense, and they're going to be the best offense in football, and that's going to solidify Jordan Love as an MVP candidate. So that's my number one take.
Do you want
Which I've
to
had on this.
know? If I can, let me just react to this one because it's a perfect segue into one of my bold takes. I have them finishing last in the NFC North around the number 15th pick. I would say closer to 10 than 15. I'm not a fan of this Packers team at all. I hate this Packers team, not just because I'm a Bears fan, but literally from a football perspective. I really think that they are the worst roster in the NFC North. Overall, complete dumpster fire to me. I'm genuinely saying this outside of bias. I don't think that they are as competitive as people think. I think this is one of the most overhyped teams in the history of the game, and I don't understand it. Jordan Love, I will say, when you say that he is aggressive, right? That can be one of their downsides. And he turns over the ball way too much. And in my opinion, I don't see it with him. I think that they're going to be thinking about, hey, maybe we trade up. Now, given the rumors that we're thinking about, and seeing all over Twitter within the past 24 hours, this could change astronomically just by one player. And I'm not saying, what I'm saying is
I'm not reading into that.
I'm not either, but my thing is I'm terrified of that strictly because that's a game wrecker. You know what I mean? We'll see if that happens. But outside of that, I'm not a fan of this roster as a whole, and I do think they will finish last in the NFC North and get a top 15 pick.
All right. Well, that might be considered a hot take on your own right there, Ryan. But
I think
going on one end to the other.
I've been called worse this week.
Oh, I'm sure you have. coming off the back of Matt's hot take again. I'm not. I want to keep on prefacing this. I'm not a hot take artist. I'm not very good at this. And if you would have said this a couple months ago, people would have been like, "Yep, that's at least reasonable." But now not as much, but still pretty reasonable. I think we leave this season considering Omarion Hampton, or at least has the best season of any rookie running back from this past draft class. I think, again, a couple weeks ago, we probably wouldn't have had to really say, like, oh, that's a hot take. But TreVeyon Henderson, my Lord.
I was just about to say, I'd like to have a conversation with you.
Picked up TreVeyon Henderson and have act as if he's just like God's, gift to earth. People like and maybe I'm proven wrong. Maybe, TreVeyon Henderson, just one last dagger in my back. But I scouting him, TreVeyon Henderson is not a running back who can do it all. He's not a bell cow guy. He's someone who will have to split carries. Regardless of whether or not he's the best back on his team, he's still going to have to split those carries. So as much explosion that I think he's going to show on the touches he's on the field, he's just not going to get enough touches. And then I just like the offense as a whole within the Chargers more than I like the offense within the Raiders. And I think he's going to be playing in a better offense with the Chargers. And I think he's going to be playing within a better pass game as the Chargers, which is going to open up a lot more running lanes for him as a running back than what GT is going to get with the Raiders. And that's why, that's how I come to this conclusion that Omarion Hampton, well, I don't know if we'll say he's the best yet, but he will definitely have the best season.
He'll outproduce him.
Kind of my take. Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be a fun one. I'm a really big fan of this running back class as a whole. I mean, I know we're talking about Ashton G&T a lot, right? But like Omarion Hampton is a fun one to watch. Ben knows this. I've been trying to trade for him for like a week now. So, but
yeah, go away.
Just a fun one altogether, man. Yeah. Matt, what you got?
I'll keep the offensive side of the ball. I think we're going around. We'll have like 3 each. So I'll get one more in here.
Yeah.
But I'll stick to the offensive side of the ball. The AFC South last season produced 0 top 16 offenses in terms of EPA per play and DVOA. I think they produced 2 this season. And I'm selling the AFC South for why? I don't know. I don't know why. I think that I'll go through all of them. Houston is just bound to bounce back. I think the offensive line, just hearing what they're doing with Stroud and that the fact that Caley is bringing in kind of the Jared Goff protection plan, which Jared Goff in Detroit has a lot of say in the protection plan, where before, under Slowick, the offensive line, the center, had all the calls with the protection plan. So I think Stroud is one of those guys that can handle that stuff on his plate, and I think they're going to shift into more like, hey, let's find the hots, let's double team this guy, let's get the ball out, kind of things like that. And that's kind of a pseudo take I have. Nico Collins leads the league in receiving yards, just because I think they're going to have some more timing shot plays to him. And who else is catching the ball there? Like 2 rookies and Christian Kirk. I think it's still up in the air. Jacksonville, obviously, I'm a big Trevor Lawrence guy. I think Cohen coming in is just going to make I was listening to the Athletic show, and they it's just so simply, but it's so like last year everything in Jacksonville was hard, everything in Tampa Bay was easy. Guess what? Now that guy from Tampa Bay is going to Jacksonville with a more talented quarterback. I think we can all agree on that. So that's where and then you're bringing in Travis Hunter, who's just going to be a bubble screen merchant, but he's still going to be dynamic at it. Brian Thomas Jr. I'm done doubting these long vertical X receivers because I was completely out on this guy. I was like, there's no way he can play X. He's too skinny. And then he has 1,300 yards in his first season.
My guy, by the way.
Yeah, little things like that. I think ETN can catch the ball out of the backfield, so like the screen game is still going to be implemented with Jacksonville, but I think Etienne is equipped to do that, and Bigsby can run through the tackles. The Titans, I think they have the best offensive line in this division. I think they might have a top 10 offensive line, period. I think it's that good. I think Ward is going to be selectively aggressive. I think he's going to have a Caleb Williams season, I think, where he's going to I hopefully turn the ball over more than Caleb did, where like Caleb's holding the ball and just not seeing things correctly, where if Ward's seeing it, he's going to rip it, and then he can walk over the sideline. Why'd you do that? Well, I saw this. Okay, I can live with that. And maybe they have some selectively explosive plays. And then lastly, the Colts. This is just banking on the receiving core, banking on the guys who catch the passes, banking on the running back, banking on the other 10 guys that aren't the quarterback. And even if the quarterback gets switched, crossing the fingers, it goes back to Richardson. I think you get that explosive play back in your bag if you get Richardson back in there. I don't know if it's going to happen. But overall, with Daniel Jones, if he is just operating on time, I think everybody else on the field is going to be pretty good. And I do enjoy the play caller, Shane Steichen. So, to round it out, the AFC South has 2 top 16 offenses this season after having 0 last season.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. That's a fun one. I know you talked about the receivers and stuff like that, so I'm going to segue to mine really quick as well because I have a receiver that I don't think you guys are really predicting me to have in terms of somebody I'm like extremely high on this year, except Ben might know. Jameson Williams, I think, will finish with over 1,200 receiving yards on the year this season. I think he's going to absolutely come off the paper, and I'm excited to see what they do with him. It's a very explosive piece in their offense, and he can absolutely rip apart a play, and I expect him to do that plenty of times this season. And with that, I know this is another one of my bold takes. I'm sorry to hog it up, but this kind of goes with it. When it comes to receiving yards, I think that Rome Odunze is going to finish top 15 in receiving yards, which is ironic because this is something that Matt kind of predicted. I don't want to say top 15, but he predicted Rome to be explosive last year. I think he does it this year. Knowing what he does now, he showed a lot of promise in the film that we watched. Go watch the Caleb Williams film if you haven't. We did a film review on him, and it's up on our YouTube channel. But I really liked his film. Just top 15.
Looking at it, 15th last year was Terry McLaurin at 1,096. So if he hits 1,100 yards, he's in that territory.
Yeah, that's kind of around where I see him. You know what I mean? Okay. And the reason why I said top 15 receiving yards, I didn't want to name him top 15 receiver in the league. Yeah. And I had a conversation with my coworkers today. Luckily, it was slow. We were talking about receiving and whether or not Terry McLaurin's a top 10 guy. I'm not going to have that conversation today, but what I will say is there's a lot of really talented receivers in this league. And for me to just go ahead and throw Rome, even in the top 15 right now, it's a really tough conversation judging by the amount of crazy talent that we have in this league. So finishing top 15 in receiving yards, that does a lot for you, and you're trending in the right direction. And as a byproduct of that, I believe Caleb Williams will throw for over 4,000 yards and cement himself as a fringe, not quite, but fringe top 10 quarterback in the
league. You're making this like the Packers are going to finish last. The Bears are all going to break out. It's just on brand.
No, it is on brand.
I understand that. And trust me, it gets worse. But, as far as those two things go, like, seriously, we're going to have some fun a little bit later. I promise you that, right? But out of anything that I'm saying specifically in this podcast, episode, these three things, the Jameson Williams prediction, Rome Odunze prediction, and Caleb Williams prediction, these are all things that I believe the absolute most. This is something that I would put my savings on it. You know what I mean? So, I'll die on this hill and come back to it next year.
Yeah. Well, and I'll kind of speed through it because we do have 2 more segments to get here, so I'll speed through the last two. I'll kind of make the leap that Ryan did not want to make. I think this time next year we'll be having a conversation about JSN being a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL.
Yep.
He made a very big leap from year 1 to year 2. Can he make that leap from year 2 to year 3? I think he can. I think he's a whole lot of fun. He does remind me, given it could be the play style and kind of the colleges that they went to, but kind of the Terry McLaurin-esque kind of wide receiver. I think he can make that leap. And then kind of my other last take here is the starting quarterback for the Colts in 2026 is on the roster currently. And it is not Anthony Richardson. It is not Daniel Jones. It is Riley Leonard. I think come the last 5-6 games of the season for them, they're going to give up on Daniel Jones. I think they're going to give up on Anthony Richardson. They said, we're not messing with this. And I think they're going to they're going to let Riley Leonard play. I think he's going to show some flashes, and come time for the draft, they're going to be like, my Lord, this quarterback draft class is garbage. So they're not going to take a quarterback. They're not going to reach on a quarterback because they're going to see enough flashes from Riley Leonard. They're going to take someone else. So I think, again, Riley Leonard will be the 2026 Colts starting quarterback. That's my final take for you guys.
I will say this really quick. I do have one take before we go to the next segment, but please carry on with your guys' opinions on Ben's take.
I mean, Ben's framing this as lukewarm. I mean, he just said a 5th-round rookie's going to be starting next year. So, I don't know, man. I don't know, Jim.
I will say
I
this.
like some of the Riley Leonard.
I want to preface this really quick by saying that I'm under the impression, and everybody should be too, that Ben thinks that Arch Manning will not be coming out of the college football
because he's
next
not coming out
season.
next year.
I know. I'm just saying this is just this is a big narrative going on right now. So for the viewers, that's why he's saying they're saying that this quarterback class sucks because Arch Manning will not be in it, and it's not going to be a headline. Isn't it going to
be funny when both the Colts and the Saints are going to be picking in the top 5, and Arch Manning isn't going to go to either of them because he's not going to be in the draft? It's going to be fantastic. I'm sorry, Matt. I just had to say that.
My last take, gentlemen, this is going to be the Rams and Cooper Kupp this year. Cooper Kupp and the Rams are going to miss each other so bad. It's going to be just like this scene. If you guys are cultured individuals, you know what I'm talking about. That's a grand finale. You see this? Cooper Kupp and the Rams offense will miss Cooper Kupp so much. Devontae Adams is not going to work out. It's going to be like D-Hop for whatever team he's played with. And you remember D-Hop's tenure with the Titans and how that was kind of like meh. I'd say maybe a little less productive than that for Devontae Adams for the Rams.
If the Rams didn't have Puka Nacua, I would be like, yeah, maybe. But they have Puka Nacua, so I don't think they're going to miss him.
I'm just saying, Rams fans are going to be like, remember that one time when we had Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua?
My thing is like what I don't. My only pushback is like, what are they gonna be missing? A 700-yard wide receiver?
Offense is not the same.
Like I don't know. They're gonna be missing a wide receiver that plays half the season because he's hurt. I just don't know what there's really to miss. I mean, do they miss prime Cooper Kupp from 4 years ago? Sure. But Cooper Kupp the last 2-3 years where he's been hurt, I just don't know what there is to miss from that Cooper Kupp. But again, we got 2 more segments. I don't want to carry on too much longer.
Yeah. Matt, bring us to the next thing, man. What are we talking about? I forgot.
Well, do you want to speed through any hot takes you got left, Matt?
Oh,
yeah, I could rattle off the portfolio.
My bad.
Malik Neighbors breaks the reception record, which is 149. The Cardinals, with all their movements, they finish as a top 10 defense. And then lastly, I'm zagging when everyone's zigging. Everyone's favorite under-the-radar playoff team this year is the Raiders. I believe the Raiders are going to have a top 5 pick. And everybody's out on this team, and I think, including this podcast, I think the Dolphins can make the playoffs. So I think the Dolphins, they were 8-9 last year, and it felt like a season from hell for them. They were 22nd in offensive EPA per play. Their defense kind of strung along. Jalen Phillips got hurt super early, and they still won 8 games. They were still in the hunt graphic in the last week of the season. What if Tyreek Hill comes back to form and maybe he's not a 1,000? He's less than 1,000 yards last year. What if he's 1,200 and Waddle continues to ascend? I think the offense is still going to be very, very good. It's just all about the explosives with them. And I think bringing in the 2 guards, Savanier in the draft, James Daniels in free agency, those guys are the power profiles of both of those guys. I think they want to be able to have this element of running through the tackles if need be. And I think Ollie Gordon's going to get some run because of that. And I think they're going to finish drives and win some games. And then, the thing about, the Raiders is, the Raiders are in a solidified division with 3 playoff teams. The Dolphins are kind of in the Bills division, and everybody else, you're still all kind of competing for that second spot. So that was another point of emphasis that I had.
Nice.
All right. So that is all for bold takes. Let's get into playoff predictions for the NFL, not college football. We did that last week.
Go watch that.
Go watch that. There you go.
Go watch that.
Good advertisement. I'm just gonna hit my 7, and then we could or 14 technically, and then we could go around. I have the Bills finishing 1 in the AFC, 2 being the Chiefs, 3 being the Ravens, 4 being the Texans, 5 being the Bengals, 6 being the Jaguars, 7 being the Broncos. The Bengals will play the Texans, Jaguars will play the Ravens, Broncos will play the Chiefs. That's the AFC. All right, let's go to the NFC. Number 1 seed being the Eagles, 2 seed being the Niners, 3 seed being the Packers, 4 seed being the Buccaneers, 5 seed being the Lions, 6 seed being the Cardinals, 7 seed being the Vikings. I really switched those 2 bottom teams around. I had the Rams in easily when we did all the schedule predictions. I had the Commanders in when we were doing the schedule predictions. I couldn't leave the Vikings out, and I wanted to believe in this Cardinals team. So that'll be the Lions will face the Buccaneers, the Cardinals will face the Packers, the Vikings will face the Niners. So those are my 14 teams that are in.
Ben, go ahead.
Yeah. We'll start out in the AFC. Ravens get the 1 seed, Chiefs at the 2 seed, Bills at 3, Texans at 4, Chargers at 5, Broncos at 6, and Bengals barely sneaking in there at the 7 seed. As I said at the top of the podcast, again, I think they just need an adequate, maybe below adequate defense to be able to do this. Their offense is plenty good enough, so I do have them making the playoffs. They will be matched up with the Chiefs in the wild card, Broncos with Bills, and Chargers with Texans here. In the AFC or the NFC, I have the Eagles at 1 seed because who else? Niners at 2 seed, Packers at 3 seed, Bucks at 4 seed, Rams at the 5 seed, Lions at the 6 seed, and then your Dallas Cowboys at the 7 seed.
Ooh.
Yes. No, I'm drinking a little bit of the Kool-Aid there. I mean, come on now. And then that would leave this would be such a fun matchup. The Cowboys to play the Niners, the Vikings, or the Lions to play the Packers, which would be fantastic. And then the Buccaneers to play the Rams.
Okay. As for my 14, starting off with the AFC, I've got the Ravens at the 1 seed, Chiefs at the 2, Bills at the 3. Guys have started drinking the Kool-Aid. Jaguars win the division, get the 4 seed. Chargers at the 5, Bengals at the 6, Broncos at the 7. And then for the AFC matchups, you have the Broncos facing off in Kansas City against the Chiefs, Bengals in Buffalo, and then the Chargers in Jacksonville. So that one's going to be fun. And then for the NFC, get your popcorn out, ladies and gentlemen. Eagles at the 1 seed, 49ers at the 2 seed, the Bears at the number 3 seed, Buccaneers at the 4 seed, Lions at the 5 seed, Commanders at the 6 seed, Vikings at the 7 seed. So I have the Vikings in San Francisco against the Niners, the Commanders in Chicago against the Bears, and then the Lions in Tampa Bay against the Buccaneers.
So we all had the same 3 teams finishing in the top 3 in the AFC, which is correct. But I think we all had a different top seed. So that's interesting. None of us had the Lions winning the division. So that was interesting.
Yep.
That was one of my hardest things that I was like, you got to stand 10 toes on this Packers thing. So, yeah. All right. Awesome. That was good. All right. I'll kick off my wild card. The 5 seeds are going to win. So the Bengals and Lions are going to beat the Texans and Buccaneers. And then all the other home teams are going to win. The Ravens are going to beat the Jaguars because they have a better quarterback. The Chiefs are going to beat the Broncos because they have a better quarterback. Because that's how they play football. Taylor Swift said it. Jared Goff and Josh Allen were going to meet in the middle of the field and fight. But the Packers will beat the Cardinals, and then the Niners will beat the Vikings. So my final 8: Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, Packers, Niners, Lions, Eagles.
Keep going, because I think it's going to be easier for people to follow if you just keep going the bracket.
Okay. Chiefs and Bills are both going to win. Chiefs are going to beat the Ravens. Breaks my heart. Bills are going to beat the Bengals. And then the Packers are going to beat the Niners. And the Lions are going to beat the Eagles. They're going to get their revenge for losing as the 1 seed last year by beating the 1 seed. Then conference title games. The Lions are going to go into the Green Bay Packers. They have lost both games in this series. They lost a division to the Packers. I think they win this game. I think Dan Campbell gets the Lions to a Super Bowl. And then the Chiefs and the Bills. You guys know I love rooting for Mahomes. I love rooting for the villain. I love just all the Mahomes magic and Taylor Swift in the audience and everyone getting so upset. But this is the Bills' time. We're going to have the Bills face the Lions in the Super Bowl. And I think Buffalo gets it done. I think this is long overdue for the Buffalo Bills. No one circles the wagon like them. And I think Josh Allen, Super Bowl MVP, I think it finally happens this season. I think this is their best shot to do it.
I like it. That's fun. Getting into mine. And you had, what, the Texans last year?
I did.
Oh, it's great.
Should have at least gone to the championship round. Just saying.
They got in the same spot.
Yep.
But, man, that looked horrible.
Yep. So in that first round matchup for me out of the AFC, I have the Chiefs beating the Bengals. In to save you time, I'm right there with you. I have the 5 seeds winning, but then the higher seeds winning the other 3 matchups. So it'd be the Chiefs beating the Bengals, the Bills beating the Broncos, and then the Chargers, the 5th seed, beating the Texans. And then going over to the AFC for keeping track, again, it's the same thing. That's Niners beating the Cowboys, Packers beating the Vikings, and Rams beating the Buccaneers. So now your matchups here are Eagles-Rams, Niners-Packers in the NFC, and then Ravens-Chargers, and Chiefs and Bills. The dreaded Chiefs and Bills matchup here. And, Matt, I wish I could be on your side, but I haven't seen it happen, and I cannot say it's going to happen until I see it. I'm sorry, Bills fans, but it's going to be another year of you getting bounced in the playoffs by Patrick Mahomes. And then I have the Ravens beating the Chargers. A nice little Harbaugh Bowl there. We've seen it once. John had won it the first time. It's going to happen again. John's going to win it again. And then you have the Eagles versus Rams. Who would I be to not pick my Eagles to win? Did it once, we're going to do it again. And then Packers and Niners. I'm going to have the Packers win this one. So now that leaves your conference games, Packers versus the Eagles, Chiefs versus Rams. And to make it nice and easy, I'm going to have the Birds team winning both of those games. You have Birds Super Bowl, Eagles versus Ravens. We're going to have a conversation about Hurts here. I mean, if Hurts does it again, if Hurts can win the Super Bowl, no one can talk about him. I think this time last year I had the Eagles winning this one. That being said, I cannot do it. I do think the Ravens are the best team in the NFL. They're going to win the Super Bowl. Lamar's going to get his MVP, Super Bowl MVP trophy. So I'm kind of in the same vein as you there, Matt, but I just have it being the Ravens instead of the Bills.
I don't hate it. Starting off my wild card round, the AFC side, Chiefs are going to beat the Broncos. Bills are going to beat the Bengals. And then the Chargers are going to beat the Jaguars. And then in the NFC, The Vikings, the 7th seed, are going to beat the 49ers. I don't think the 49ers would have faced as tough of a defense. I mean, that's playoff Brian Flores defense right there, man. That's going to be a tough one.
He gave pretty
Even
good
though they're at
last
home, it's going to be fun. Then the Commanders take a trip to Chicago. And like Justin Timberlake and NSYNC had said, bye. The Bears are going to end up winning that game. The Lions and the Buccaneers, Lions are going to take a trip down to Tampa Bay and end up losing to the Buccaneers. And then for the divisional round, we have the Chargers and the Ravens, as well as the Bills and the Chiefs. I'm going to have the Ravens beat the Chargers and then Bills beat the Chiefs. And then in the NFC, I have the Eagles beating the Vikings. And then the Bears get their second playoff victory under Ben Johnson in his first year, going all the way to the conference championship round. Bills and Ravens in the AFC. It's happening. Ben was absolutely right. The Ravens are going to the bowl. And as much as I would love to say it, I think the Eagles are going to beat the Bears twice this season. Once in the regular season, once in the conference championship. We're going to have a Bird Bowl. Ben was right, and he's right about the Super Bowl winner. It's going to be the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, he's going to be really good this year, and he's going to get the MVP that some people –
Put on the bold take.
He's going to be really good this year, and he's going to get the MVP that some people in this podcast thinks that he deserves. And deserved last season. So that's the playoff predictions. What are we thinking? Crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we all know what you really see. This
is Kool-Aid because I'm drinking it.
This is why Bears fans, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but this is why Bears fans are always disappointed because you guys are out here saying we're gonna make the conference game or the conference playoff game. Well, if that's going to be your expectation with a first-year head coach and a sophomore-year quarterback who's trying to pick up a new offense,
hold on, wait a minute.
Still kind of bad No. Let me finish.
Whoa.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Thank you. All right. With 2 tackle questions and with all the questions that the Bears have,
starting on left tackle.
Okay, with all the questions that the Bears have. For Bears fans to then turn around and say, well, we're going to have them make it to the conference championship game. This is why you guys are so sad and depressed and disappointed every year, because you guys have the most, oh my gosh, ridiculous expectations for your team every year. Thank you. You can finish. That's all I got to say. I'm not going to respond after
Ryan for being a fan.
for this.
Hey, hold on a second. Okay, well, didn't the Commanders just have a brand new head coach make the conference championship last season with a young quarterback at the helm? I mean, Jaden Daniels trying to figure things out under Cliff Kingsbury. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't Ben Johnson a more successful offensive coach in mind than Cliff Kingsbury in general? Wait a minute.
And how often
Wasn't
does
Caleb
it happen?
Williams a more sought-after
happen?
prospect when it comes to the NFL draft last season? Wait a minute. Didn't the Commanders have a lot of questions going into last season as far as their roster construction and their defense specifically? I mean, this is the NFL we're talking about, Ben. You can call me a fan all you want, but if you get hot at the right time, anything could happen here. I might be sipping the Kool-Aid on my team here, but I think for sure the Bears have a pretty decent chance at being good. Do they have a chance at being bad? They're the Chicago Bears, of course. But am I going to sit here anymore and waddle in my depression that last year didn't work out and Matty Eberflus didn't call a timeout in Detroit on Thanksgiving and it ruined my turkey dinner? Am I going to sit here and pout about that anymore? Or am I going to sit here and realize that week 1 is 1 week away and just be, okay, well, we'll see. Like, no. I'm sorry about it.
Be upset. I'm asking you to be realistic. Stop it. The reason that the Commanders team was so exciting is because that doesn't happen. So you're asking, this goes back to, is it the expectation or is it, oh my goodness, you're stressing me out. I can't do it. Is it the expectation or is it the exception, right? And you're making the exception the expectation. And that's what the Bears fans are doing. And again, be excited. I'm not telling you to be like, our team's going to win 4 games. I'm just asking you to be realistic. That's it. And again, maybe it bounces, maybe it bites me in the butt, and maybe you guys make the conference championship game. But I think it is better to have a realistic expectation and be excited about it. Because ask Commanders fans, did they think they were going to get that far last year? No shot in hell. And that's why it was so exciting. Again, I
Listen,
don't want to spend too much time.
I have a rebuttal to you because I'm kind of innocent bystander in all of this.
Yeah.
Last 3 years, we had Brock Purdy come in and lead his team to the conference championship. We saw C.J. Stroud lead his team to a division win when they were like the worst odds to win the Super Bowl, and they won a playoff game. And then last year we had Daniels go to the. So it's like, I disagree with your point of like it doesn't happen. It's the wave, man. It's the wave that these young rookie quarterbacks just pick up the game, or just young quarterbacks in general pick up the game faster than they should. And by any means am I saying Caleb Williams is going to? No, because I watched his rookie year. But I think his talent and overall what Ryan's spewing on the offensive side, like I could buy the offense being.
I could buy the offense too.
But I'm. Yeah, who are y'all playing at left tackle? But like, it's we'll see. We'll see.
Here, hold on a
But
minute. Let me just say,
It's the league of parity.
we wanted to. I mean, just to further that point, Ben, the clip that we're using in the podcast intro had Nick Foles catching a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl. Who was in the conference championships at quarterback that year?
Again, that is why it is
Blake
so
Bortles.
much fun.
Blake Bortles?
Blake,
The boat.
Case Keenum, Nick Foles.
Case Keenum.
And then
Case Keenum,
Tom
man.
Brady.
Case Keenum. Where's Case Keenum? What's Case Keenum doing right now?
When
Where is he?
when
You
the
actually don't know?
Vikings
Case
started
Keenum.
him,
Wait a minute.
did they have-
Wait a minute.
Did-
Third
that-
string
right.
quarterback for the Chicago Bears, Case Keenum, the guy that
Vikings-
mentored C.J.
you were
Stroud for the
Vikings
last
fans
couple of years.
expect
Case Keenum.
that.
I'm
The
saying
Vikings
the pieces are in
expect
place
that.
for this
The
team.
Commanders fans expect that. That's what makes all this stuff. It just again, I think it's crazy. Again, I've always said it's your job as a fan to be excited, but this is my overarching point. This is why Bears fans are so miserable, is because you guys have these lofty expectations and set expectations for your team that are just way beyond what is mostly realistic. Again, anything can happen, but this is why you guys are so miserable all the time.
So
It's
miserable.
because you guys have these crazy expectations, and that's the point that I'm trying to make.
If the chips were to fall this way, I think there's a shot. I think there's a shot.
I think it would be fun. I would love for it to happen. Again, as you guys have said, parody happens all the time. But just this, I just want to point that out to all the Bears fans watching.
Sound like
This
an
is
idiot.
why you guys are miserable. That's all I'm saying.
We're not the only miserable fan base in the league. Let me just point that out.
Of course not.
Okay.
Of course not. I'm just
It's
saying.
just,
this is why
it's just you have
this
to
is-
deal with me, and that's the problem.
Yes.
Like, you know. All right. I think we've got a whole nother level of football to talk about, right, boys? What are we thinking?
Yeah, that's all for the playoff predictions. Didn't think I'd get a Bears debate, but hey, what a
I'll tell you.
It's the Pigskin
Hey.
Project. You never know when a Bears debate's
What a
gonna
day.
go.
Matt, what's your headline say underneath your name?
let's get
Let's get
takey.
takey, baby. Let's get takey. Come on. We gotta get
We've already gotten takey, all right? Settle down.
so we've gotten takey a lot of
Swing.
times.
We swing to the college corner.
Yes.
Let's just make it really quick. Week 0. Let's talk about the game in Dublin.
That was fun.
Iowa State won. It was a really it was a chaotic game. It was Big 12 football. It was 70-yard touchdowns with missed calls by referees in the final 5 minutes. There was the first 5 minutes muffed punts. Dylan Edwards, the most electrifying player in maybe the entire Big 12, sprains his ankle and he doesn't play another snap. Avery Johnson had a really good stat line, but he still looks stiff in the pocket, so that's scary. And then Rocco Becht threw 50 completion percentage, but had the 2 throws that mattered in the game, and so they won the game. So again, this was a game that I think a lot of people had tilting the conference, and the underdog won. So again, adds more to tilting the conference.
It's the quintessential like Big 12 opener. Like when I envision what the Big 12 opener
Also,
was
the
going to look like.
underhitting, because the guy fell down at the 1 yard line, they were able to kneel it out with 2 minutes left, is just insane.
No, it's
college
actually
football summed up,
genuinely,
man.
Like,
So
yeah, the
insane.
most
The
fantastic.
Big 12.
But that's what I was gonna say. That's a Big 12 summed up. Like we shouldn't expect anything different. It is fantastic. Like we're getting to the point where like Big 12 might be like approaching like Maction level of football. Like that's kind of where we're at right now when I watch this. It's fantastic. And again, football focused podcast. But Avery Johnson's dad, man. This clip's out there.
He fought his brother, right?
Yes, he got in a fight with his brother outside of the stadium.
Hey, can I announce something live here on
the Farmageddon? Yes, go ahead.
Look at this box score.
live on College Corner? I'm going to go ahead and announce the obvious here to us, but maybe not so much for everybody else. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt just talked about the underhitting and a bad beat. Pixie and Payouts coming back next week, guys. I mean that's going to be a lot of fun, and maybe we've got a little bit more cooking there. So
You
you
gonna be
know,
unlocked by then?
I'm gonna be unlocked, baby. Yeah, I'll be unlocked for a full day. I was telling my coworker, I'm gonna wake up out of bed and be like, oh man, I have work. Oh, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be good. We're gonna be back. It's gonna be good. All right. Anyways, College Corner. Yeah, football.
And then really quickly, the two other games. the Stanford Hawaii game was a lot of fun. Man, does that Hawaii quarterback have some heart in him? That was walk-off field goal win for Hawaii. Quarterback was playing on like one leg for the entire second half of the game. And then the other one that I think is worthwhile talking about. Man, UNLV. Dan Mullins. What is going on? This is not the UNLV that we came accustomed to watching off of last year. That was one of the sloppiest dog trash games
Listen,
I've ever
he's got
seen.
a lot of transfers on the defensive side of the ball. All right, they got to figure it out. They got to get some
I
games.
get that, but what is Idaho State doing, putting up 30-plus points on you? That should never happen.
Their quarterback
ever.
was explosive as hell for no reason.
But I mean, we saw Alex Orji try to hurdle into the end zone, fumble it. There's not an Orji
Benched.
in the end zone situation. It was a lot of fun. Again, it's what you expect from your week 0 chips and salsa that Matt was talking about.
Yeah, it didn't feel like college football was back yet. But like once this game kicks off, Texas in the shoe. Ohio State is favored by 1.5. It has been swinging. I think Texas opened as a 3-point dog. The over-under has kind of stayed steady. The beginning of the Arch Manning era in Austin, Texas, and the continuation of the Ohio State revenge tour. Like, are they still technically on a revenge tour because they didn't beat Michigan last year, but they won
It's
the
a
title?
revenge tour until we beat Michigan, dude. It's a
So,
sad, long revenge
that's-
tour, but it's a revenge
what I-
tour.
That's what I thought, and so I'm just excited for this again because I love that Texas schedules these games. I love that they go out of their way to face the best of the best now with Sark and you know like this is going to be the third straight year they faced Alabama 2 years ago. They faced Michigan last year, who, yes, Michigan was bad last year, but we didn't project Michigan to be that bad. They were top 10 preseason last year. And then now Ohio State. A lot of turnover for both teams. Both of them are in, like, of the 130-ish programs, I think they're both in, like, the 75 to 80 range of returning production. That's why when Ben and I harp on Clemson and Penn State winning the title is because those teams are top 5. So it's like there is a continuity in college football where these two teams, even being ranked in the top 3, don't have that. But I'll say this. This is going to be a stacked game. If you're just like looking, projecting at the NFL, like obviously you want to watch Arch. Julian Sayin can sling the ball. Jeremiah Smith, we know about Jeremiah Smith. If you watched one college football game, you know about Jeremiah Smith. The Purdue tight end transfer going to Ohio State. I can't remember.
Cardell Tate.
No, yeah, Carnell Tate.
Well, yeah.
He's also going to be in the mix, and the defensive side of the ball. Colin Simmons, I think, is the best edge rusher in football, or in college football, and Caleb Downs is the best safety in college football. Igbenogsen's coming back. They still have Sonny Styles running around on the Ohio State defensive side of the ball, and then Michael Taff for Texas. This is beautiful to have one of these games. I get it's kicking off at noon, and yes, Texas said no to a night game because they didn't want to fly back Monday morning. So whine about it, dude. But
I have to work. I will whine about it.
Whine about it.
I need to
dude.
see this game.
I know. I won't be able to watch this game either, which is like a little disappointing. But I'm not being able to watch the game for like good reasons. I'm busy Saturday. That's regardless, but for good reasons. But as you said, if you guys did not watch the episodes last week, go back and watch that. Me and Matt literally spent the entire episode outside of like the first like 15 minutes with news, just talking about college football. That's it. Period. And not to like spoil it, but I'm going to. This was Matt's college football like championship matchup. Like we're going to be treated to arguably one of the best. Arguably two of the best games in all of college football will be happening week 1.
You could argue 3.
What?
You could argue 3.
You could absolutely argue 3. Like we're getting treated. It is absolutely fantastic. I'm so pumped for it. I'm not gonna argue 3 because one of the other team on the other side, but that's regardless. But again, we're gonna really see. I mean, these two quarterbacks on either side really, these are quarterbacks that people have been hyping about, quarterbacks people have been talking about, and really getting excited to finally step in and have it be their offense. At the end of the day here, I think Texas's defense is just going to be too much for Julian Sayin to handle in his first start. I do think Texas is going to win this one, but again, I think it's going to be an absolute battle the entire game, an absolute treat to watch.
I just have to ask, right? Is this the most anticipated week 1 matchup of all time? Is this, you know what I mean? Could this be like one of the biggest but most anticipated, considering the massive first time we've seen a 12-team playoff in college football history, and then we're getting an immediate rematch week 1, and we knew about it going into that first matchup in the college football playoff? This has to be circled on the calendar at Texas since they lost that game in the playoff. You need your get back against the national champions, and then not to mention they're national champions. Like, they're ranked number 3 in the nation right now. I mean, like, this is huge for all college football fans. I want to say there was something, and one of you guys can complete the sentence for me, but it was like, this is the highest seeded week 1 matchup of like all time or something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? There was something, am I right there? I don't know. But like, this is a crazy 1 versus 3 week 1. Could you ask for much more?
Regardless of time that the number 1 ranked team is coming into the season as an underdog in the first matchup. So
and hey, yeah, that's another one. That one's a fun one, but I'm not even worried about that. Matt, remind the people what was your little under your headline, under your mat, you know what I'm saying, that you had on today? Say it. I want you to say it.
I will not.
Let's get takey. These teams, as mentioned by both of these doofuses, this is not going to be the first time or last time. Or, I mean, this is the first time, but this is not going to be the last time that they see each other this season. I think whoever wins this game loses the next one. That's the takey. So, I'm just saying it's going to be fun, and these quarterbacks are going to see a lot of time for the rest of the season and get a lot better, it's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think this is going to be the end of the season for either team if one of the other loses. You know what I'm saying?
I mean that's
the cool
that's
thing.
the thing with 12 teams is these two teams could still lose 2 more times and probably have a case. So
Yeah.
but hey, we're gonna get to 16 in no time.
Ryan, if you had to guess who's winning this game,
Texas.
say it. Texas. Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking
Yeah.
Texas.
Ah.
Let's get into the next one. Let's go to the Death Valley Invitational. 9-seeded LSU travels to
The
4-seeded
Tigers.
Clemson. It is Tiger Showdown, Death Valley Showdown, the Death Valley Invitational. That's I heard that once and I love saying
Ben,
it.
I watched this game last night. How did that go?
And
William.
Clemson, 3.5-point favorites. The over/under is a massive 57.5. This is another awesome game because much like Texas and Ohio State, there's a lot of newness. There's a lot of question marks. LSU, a lot of proven commodities in the transfer portal, so they need to piece that out. But they have a proven commodity at quarterback and their receiving weapons. And then for LSU, they're bringing back their quarterback. They're bringing back their receivers. They're bringing back their defensive line duo, who is they're bringing back Avion Terrell. They're bringing back everybody, it feels like. I feel like Clemson is bringing back, I think they are returning the most starters in the P4 level. So this is another, I hate to do it, but like this is the Brian Kelly game. Like he's got to win this. I hate being like Mr. Let's get takey, but it's week one.
He said it. He said the thing.
He has to win this one. And if they don't win this one, there is going to be just a cloud. We didn't talk about it last week with the Prove It players just because of time constraints, but he was my number one Prove It player, not because I think he's going to get bought out and he's going to get fired next season, but because like this is your shot. They pivoted off the Bryce Underwood thing, losing him to Michigan, by pivoting all of that money and resource power into this offseason. And I think they got damn good players. I think Pat Payton gave up on Florida State last year. I think Jack Byron is due for a big blow-up. He comes over from Florida. Mansour Delane from Virginia Tech. That's going to be a top 50 corner, or top 50 player drafted as corner. And then shout out DJ Pickett, true freshman who can play both sides, by the way. And he's mostly going to be a corner, but he's a 5-star corner. I think they're going to sprinkle him in. And then their receivers are just loaded on LSU. The only thing is the offensive line. Can they figure it out? Do they figure it out against Clemson? But I'm going to zag here. I'm going to take LSU. I think it's more fun to take LSU and have a more fun time rooting for LSU. I don't know.
That would be so much fun. I mean, as you
Where
said,
would they be ranked if they win this game? Because 1's versus 3. Like if they win this game, they take the 4 spot, right? Like, and it's just like immediate skyrocket. Like if they win this game, it's immediate like national. We're going to the national title game. So like I'm so fat for both teams too. So I'm just so. This is another one. Like this is such a fascinating game.
I mean, as we had talked about in last week's episode, I love both teams as playoff contenders here. And to be frank, I mean, if Brian Kelly wasn't the head coach of this team, I think there'd be even more conversation. I mean, this is a conversation that me and you had off the air here, Matt. I mean, if you just replace him even with Coach O, I mean, the expectation and the hype and what people want for this team would be so drastically higher because, as you covered, I mean, they're not brothers, but the Anderson brothers. Hopefully that offensive line is still good. Nussmeier's probably going to be I'm going to say he's the best quarterback in the class. Who knows? We have a year of college football to figure that one out.
Yeah. Again,
all those additions that you had talked about. I mean, there's reason to get very, very excited about this LSU offense and this LSU team as a whole. Again, absolute treat that we get to see these guys kick off week one. But it's a gosh darn shame they're playing up against arguably the best defense in the entire country with Clemson. And I mean, we're really going to see what this LSU team has and whether or not they're really going to be a team that we can talk about as a true playoff contender and championship contender. Or we'd be like, okay, this isn't the year. So they're going to be tested early, and we're really going to see what this LSU team has. And again, as you said, if they can go out and beat Clemson week 1, it's going to be absolutely electric. So, but I have Clemson winning this one. Again, I think Clemson has the best defense in the entire country, and Cade Klubnik doesn't have to be great. He can be great, but he's not going to ask to be great. And I think Clemson's going to win. So,
I'm with Ben here. Yeah, I'm big on Clemson this year. That's all I really have. I mean, like he took the words out of my mouth. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I got you.
Fun
right.
team. I don't know. That's my girlfriend's team. I'm rooting for them.
And now, ironically enough, we're done with the Saturday games because we're going to swing around to the entire Labor Day weekend. Let's go to Sunday night. Notre Dame at Miami. I should have put at Miami here. Notre Dame favored by 2.5. The over/under 49.5. For Notre Dame, I mean, coming off finally making it back to the national championship in the third year of Marcus Freeman, a year where they lose to Northern Illinois, a year where it just feels like it's going to hell once again, like it always did with Kelly. They figure it out, they weather the storm, and they get back there. For Miami, it's a new face at quarterback, and they just keep doing it with these transfer quarterbacks. Now going to Carson Beck, who's a proven commodity, whatever he is. Like, I think there's still like I still think he's like the second best quarterback in the ACC. So it's but is he a top 10 quarterback? I think that is the argument, because this is a Miami team that the window keeps shrinking and keeps shrinking and keeps shrinking. They need to make the playoff, and they need to win some of these games. And for them, they also have Florida circled on the schedule. So another non-con game where they have to really get up for. But this one is fascinating. CJ Carr beat out Kenny Minchie for the job at quarterback. Jaden Greathouse is back there at receiver. They're retooling the defense. So I don't know much about this defense. Watts is gone. Riley Mills is gone. Jack Kaiser is gone. Ben Morrison was gone halfway through the season last year. So a lot of new guys that I can't really put my major opinion on right now. I just know, Christian Gray playing on the outside, who lost that double move to Jeremiah Smith. That's what everybody remembers him for. But he's a pretty good corner. We'll see how that figures out. I think there's just a lot of question mark with these two teams, and I just want to find out. With these two teams, frankly. So I'm really excited for this one, and then obviously Jeremiah Love, touchdown scorer, hit every week last year.
Yep.
Can I jump in for just a half a second here, just because I want to get takey for half a second? Miami wins this game. I like Miami, even though, because here's the thing. I know I wasn't on the show last week to say it. I do like Notre Dame this year. And, I don't know if I've said it on the podcast or not, but there's reason for me to root for Notre Dame. For those of you that, know, maybe, I don't know why you would, but, we thank Regional Radio Sports Network at the end of the show. Regional Radio Sports Network is a broadcast company that I used to work for, but no longer do, at least for not right now. And I broadcasted for Notre Dame starting linebacker Drake Bowen during his state championship run in Indiana for Andrean. So I have reason to root for him and Notre Dame. And so that's part of the reason why I like to root for them. But not only that, I'm a huge Jeremiah Love guy. I want him to go to the Bears next year. That would be a massive help. But right now, I don't know. I'm the vibes guy of the show, man. Miami. I don't know. Carson Beck. I don't know.
Yeah,
Carson Beck is like all-time bad vibes quarterback, though.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. All-time bad
good
vibes.
vibes.
I'm so far out on Miami. The only reason Miami was a good team last year is because they had a special talent at quarterback last year who could run around and make stuff off script. And that's why Miami was good. I don't like Carson Beck. I never thought Carson Beck was that kind of talent that Cam Ward is. And you add on top of that, there's not a whole lot of pass catchers to begin with on Miami. That excites me. That I can get excited about that defense still doesn't excite me on Miami. But again, on the flip side of that, how much does Al Golden leaving impact this Notre Dame team? And all the defensive players leaving that Matt had talked about affect this Notre Dame team. I mean, they were good because obviously, Love, but then because of that defense. And there's all of that turnover. So it's going to be really, really interesting. And I am excited to watch CJ Carr play. I mean, there's been a lot of love for CJ Carr coming out. I was excited to see what the kid got.
Take the under on this game. That's my bet.
I'm taking Miami. I'm riding with Ryan. I took them in the national championship, or in the playoff predictions. Didn't have them going to the national championship. I don't know why I said that, but I had them winning this game. I'm gonna keep going with it. Miami at home. Catholics versus convicts.
Notre Dame, baby.
Notre Dame always has that game. You know what I mean?
Miami's too good
I like
to be
your
that
underpick.
game.
I like your underpick because I could see it getting grimy and rusty like it did in A&M last year for and just turn to number 4 and saying, hey, like, carry us across the finish line. I think that was the moment that they were like, yep, this is the guy. And it happened in week 1, so that was pretty awesome. But let's move on to Friday night because this is again, the whole weekend. We got to bounce around. Auburn versus Baylor. And you're probably saying, like, what, Matt? Why is this a game? Well, Jackson Arnold is new to town to Auburn, and Baylor with Dave Aranda. Like, both of these guys, these coaches, Hugh Freeze and Dave Aranda, kind of saved their jobs for this season last season. Really, like, finishing the season strong, if you will. Like, because beating A&M and then losing to Bama and being 5-7 apparently keeps your job in the SEC with Auburn. So, but overall, this is a swing game for the Big 12 because the Big 12 does not have many bites at the apple to get one on the SEC. And I think Baylor at home against Auburn is just the team to do it. They're bringing back Sawyer Robertson, who actually is good in the Big 12. Like, I think a lot of people overrate hey, I know who that quarterback is in the Big 12, so they're good. Sawyer Robertson's actually good. So that's fascinating. I think there was a lot of buyers in the portal if he were to hit it. He did not. He decided to stay, of course. And they have a lot of turnover at the offensive skill position. And then for Auburn, obviously, we've talked about Cam Coleman and how dynamic he is. Dropping in a little Eric Singleton here, only good things out of that guy. I think that guy is definitely going to be a top 100 NFL draft pick next season. Just from, and I get it, it's just vibes. Like I'm stealing Ryan's thunder here, but like just the vibes of his camp and what he's been doing, just ball in his hands, and that's something that Jackson Arnold has really never gotten to throw to because he's only had one season at Oklahoma where everything just went poorly. And then, oh, by the way, Auburn's offensive line is going to have, like, 2 guys who are going to be clammed at for the top 50 picks. Like, this is a really good offensive line. This is a really deep offensive line. And then I got to mention Keldrick Falk, but I'm rambling about these 2 teams. This is, like, this is not really a sicko game, but this is a game that it's, like, this does define the season for both of these teams that I don't think people realize in the moment. But it's, like, these 2 teams could swing in an opposite direction depending on the outcome of this game, much like Miami and Florida last year. But Florida weathered the storm.
It made me so happy that when we were, previewing this, we were talking about the teams and everything, that we both had this game on here because we're both in the same page. I mean, these are 2 unranked teams that if everything falls in the right step, one team is bad, one fumble, one interception, one 2-point conversion, these 2 teams could possibly make it in the playoffs. And it starts right here in this game. And to be frank, if you guys want to see some of, I'm going to say the best running back tandem. I could be wrong, but one of the best running back tandems in college football. Watch Baylor. Bryson Washington and Dawson Pendergrass are a treat to watch. I mean, Dawson had like 650 yards this past year. Bryson had over 1,000 yards. Both guys are going to be NFL backs, I think. Both of them are a lot of fun to watch. If you want to watch a good running game, watch Baylor. But again, as I said, these are two playoff hopefuls if things go right. But both of them are unranked, and it's going to be really, really interesting because if you're going into the season unranked and you're hoping to make the playoffs, you got to make a statement week 1. Because if not, I don't know how much of a chance you have, especially coming, out of the Big 12 or playing that grueling SEC schedule. So
Absolutely. I'm taking Auburn.
I'm taking Auburn too.
I've been pretty vocal about Auburn, but this is going to be a hell of a game to watch. Then let's swing it over to Monday night, one of the most anticipated games of the weekend somehow, even with both teams not ranked. The debut of Chapel Bill and what he is bringing to North Carolina. They are currently dogs to TCU. Sonny Dykes, Josh Hoover, the boys over at Texas Christian. I just want to watch it.
It's Bill.
I like.
Come on, how could you not?
Man, I'm excited for what like Gio Lopez is at the next level because he screams a quarterback that I don't think gets better at the next level. But I think they have some decent they're just young, man. Like Jordan Shipp, he's a part of that big recruiting class or that 24 recruiting class for receivers. He's yet to have that like breakout season, but they're going to depend on him a lot. Chris Culver's there. I don't know much about the running back group. I really don't. There's just a lot of. They are one of. Let me see here. I know I have it in the notes from a few weeks ago, but let me see if I can find it. No, but it's like I can't find it. But one of the 7 Power 5 teams to have 35 plus transfers, and UNC is one of them. So like, and UCF is on that. Purdue is on that. Like these teams who are in major flux are on that. So it's like, and I think there's a lot of expectation. North Carolina is going to be really good. Like. I think their win total's about at that 7.5 with juice to the 7.5. So a lot of people expect them to win 8 games after winning 6 last year. So I'm just fascinated by it. Obviously, we want to talk about, Bill Belichick. Again, this is another one of these Big 12. Like Big 12 is the fourth of the top 4 conferences. They get bites at the apple here to win these games, and they're favorites in these games. Like. Again, it adds more relevancy and it adds more validity to the Big 12 conference in like maybe do we deserve 2 teams in the playoff if one of us is 9-2 or something like that. So this is another one of those games for the Big 12 that I think is a swing for them. So
yeah, I don't know how much real analysis has to go into this first game. Like, I think it's okay for people to sit back and be like, well, why are you excited for this game? Well, Bill Belichick is coaching his first college football game. And like, that's it. And I think it's okay at times to just leave it at that and be like, we are watching Bill Belichick coach his first college football playoff game. Let's see what he's going to do with the transfer quarterback and Gio Lopez. And leave it at that and see where it goes. And I think that's kind of where I'm at with this game. I don't really have.
If there's like, is there a blank stare on his face where it's like he just sails a ball? Where it's like, good God, where am I? Like, where am I? Like, I've never seen a player ever sail that ball. Like, he's going to be working with kids who are not NFL level players anymore. So it's like some of them are going to be obviously, but for the most part, not really. And it's just insane to think that he is coaching college football and we're going to see him. Do you
I
think
could
he
not
wears
agree
that
more.
like old? Do you think he wears that like super old crew neck that he like revealed
I
at the
hope
press
so.
conference for the
I
first
hope
night?
so. I hope so. That'd be so much fun. But yeah, again, I mean, seeing his mannerism on the sidelines compared to how he was in the NFL, compared to how you're gonna have to act as like a college coach, like I'm wondering if we get that that clip that had went viral of Saban at LSU like screaming at the kid, and then it's gonna make me so upset who the other coach there was, but just like screaming and yelling at the kid.
The
I'm
LSU
wondering,
one?
yes,
Is it Muschamp? It was Muschamp.
yes, it was Muschamp of Muschamp and Saban just like
Yeah.
going at this kid, screaming back and forth. Like I'm wondering if we get something like that out of Bill Belichick.
Freddie
Like,
Kitchens and Bill Belichick just
wouldn't that be so
grilling a
much fun?
receiver.
But again,
You ran
it'll just be
you ran an
interesting. to see
8-yard
how it
curl,
is.
not a 9-yard curl. Just
Yeah, exactly.
who we picking?
So
TCU.
Wait
Nah,
until Monday.
you know what?
Wait until Monday. You're gonna get this at 2.5. I'm taking TCU. Duh.
Yeah.
You see my hat.
Yeah.
It'd be fun though.
All right.
I'm thinking TCU. I love Bill. I just don't know. I've always been. I don't know how well it's gonna work out, and I'm still gonna stand on that. Two more quick little tidbits, and we'll talk about it very quickly before we get out of here. Two other games I think were worthwhile talking about. Bama versus FSU. Can Bama get on track from where they were at? You know, it's okay. Bama, we understand you lost Nick Saban. It's okay to take a step back. Now, can you get back to where you were? Can you be a true contender? What does Ty Simpson have? Can we expect him to be one of these next great Alabama quarterbacks? Or are we going to have to pivot into, our highly touted rookie or freshman quarterback? I think this is going to be very big for the tone of the rest of the season for Alabama. Can they make a statement? Or are they going to come and struggle against what was a very bad
Hey,
FSU
Tommy
team last year?
Castellanos ain't quiet about Alabama. So
I know.
I hope the boys in Tuscaloosa are seeing red for that little guy.
Exactly. And wouldn't it be so much? We've had we've talked about him plenty enough here before on this podcast. We'll say that. If you haven't found it, go and find it. But again, I think this is a chance to be a good get right game for Alabama and set themselves on track to actually make the playoffs and not complain about scheduling and whatnot. But again, different conversation for a completely different day. And then the other one was Nebraska versus Cincy, kind of in that same vein. Can Nebraska set themselves up to really take that step that we've come accustomed to? Yes, come accustomed to with Matt Rule. I mean, this is a team that Matt had talked about last episode, saying, are they going to be able to make it? Or are they going to be able to sneak in, as a 12th seed, as the 11th seed, or whatnot? And again, I think it starts obviously with this game. It's going to be a fun environment. They're playing at Arrowhead, and again, we'll see. Does Raiola have what it takes? Can he take a step forward? Can the team as a whole grow in a culture? Are you going to struggle against a Cincinnati team? And again, it'll really set the tone in the same vein that FSU Alabama game is. But again, guys, we got a full slate of college football games over the next really like 4 or 5 days. So it's time to get excited. College football's back. Bryce Underwood's playing. Arch Manning's playing. Julian Sayin is playing. It's just time to get excited, guys. Get excited. Get pumped. I'll leave it at that.
All right, let me hit my card real quick. All right, then we'll get out of here.
Yes. Yep.
This is my card for the week. I try and let's cruise through some games. Ohio is good. They're at on the road against Rutgers. UCF 20.5. I like to take spreads early in the year because I just want to bet on teams more so than totals because I got to figure that out. App State Charlotte is just a fun I think it's the Mayo Bowl this year. So in Charlotte, so I just wanted to take the over. That's a fun game. GT is much more of a 5. Like, they are so much better of a team than Colorado this year. 5 points feels like disrespect, even if it's on the road in Boulder. Toledo, I think sprinkle them to beat Kentucky. I think Toledo is going to be one of those teams that's fighting for the G5. Say they go 12-0 a few years ago when PJ Fleck did it at Western Michigan. I think Toledo's got that talent this year. Northwestern and Tulane going over at home in New Orleans. IU -24 against Old Dominion, just because Cignetti beats those teams. He beats the hell out of those teams, and he tells you about it. Mizzou State, their first FBS game on the road against USC. This is a vibes play. 35.5. You're getting a good number, so just don't lose by more than 5 touchdowns, and you can lose by exactly 5 touchdowns, and you'd still win the bet. Utah, same process as GT. I'm much higher on this team and than UCLA. Even if Nico's going there, I still think UCLA is far enough away, and Utah is right there. And then lastly, TCU -3. I threw it on here just because I love it so much. Try and wait and see if some casual betting will, I think casual bettors will get that down to 2.5. I would take the 2.5, absolutely. So hold back on the TCU pick. And then lastly, you guys saw my hat. NC State against ECU is going to be awesome. So take NC, I think it's still like 14. I don't love the play, but like that's a game that like I just wanted to talk about because like there's real hate there, and it's pretty cool. And they fought before the Military Bowl, they fought in the middle of the Military Bowl, and then they fought after the Military Bowl. And ECU like kicked ass. I was pretty embarrassed. So hopefully NC State brings that tomorrow on Thursday. So that's all for me. It's all for College Corner. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts, guys, before we close up the off season?
Again, just get excited, guys. I mean, we spend the entire off season looking forward to this exact moment in both college football and the NFL. We've waited months and months and months and months. It is finally back. Get excited. If you got weddings, put it on the back burner. Who's getting married on Saturday and Sunday? Not me, that's for sure. But just put everything on the back burner. All right? Go and watch, football. Relax, scream, get angry, get happy. Full gambit of emotions. Time to get excited.
Absolutely. Matt, anything?
No, nothing from me. I think we hit on it.
Enjoy yourselves these next 5 days of nothing but football. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. It's going to be awesome. And then after that, Thursday, well, let me just say Wednesday, because you've got a football show on that's going to be on Wednesday at your normal scheduled time around 8:30 p.m. Central Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. You'll have the Pigskin Project Wednesday, football Thursday, football Friday, football Saturday, football Sunday, football Monday. Guys, this is the life that we're living, man. We made it. The hard work is done. Time to sit down on the couch, get your buffalo wings and a beer, enjoy yourself, open up FanDuel responsibly, and
had to mention
enjoy
it.
Yourself. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into the Pigskin Project, episode 172. Thank you for tuning in this off season. My God, was it a grind, and it always is. And you guys have been there every step of the way, so we greatly appreciate that. We want to thank Regional Radio Sports Network, Uppercuts Grooming, and Spotify for Podcasters for helping us grow as a podcast. And if you are one of the people that were watching our YouTube videos this week, we also greatly appreciate you. Without further ado, that has been the off season of the Pigskin Project. Welcome in to the regular season. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.